Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Now let's start with things today. Let me show you. Let's start with how you set up the things on your system now here. Once you get the jar and the license. What I did is I created a folder, I'm 6.5, and there what I did is I passed it these two things, the car and the license. Let me, before this, open a pane to show you the basic architecture of how a game is set up on any companies. On any company, they can say this is a work queue environment for any environment, the broad environmental broad. Or QA, what we have is every environment would have at least 2 instances of a year. Every company, like when they set up a problem and when they set up a UID, they will have 2 instances, at least 1 instance. It will be 1 instance and then there will be another instance, at least another one. There can be more than one. It should be one, and there can be more than one as well. Now, why do we need these twins? This is also AEM. This is also AEM, EMEM, and this is also for say a minimum late. Now, why every environment like this is production or the queue, A or any by a reason at least is why. Because see what authors do or what CMs do is they do the authoring, they prepare the content like consider. Like take the example of a printers. The hardest printer work is we prepare the content, repair the Word document, then we do a print preview. We see that everything is good and then finally we do a print command to take the page outer. We get the final out. Firstly, we prepare the content. Then we do a print preview and then finally we give the commander of the print. That's it. The final output that I got before that I am preparing the content and I am previewing that content. Now in a EM, consider I am on this website. I say big website. Well, anyway, I'm scared to card website any, just thinking it. Now here we said this is the images, of course, anything in by the country daughters or the content managers or the authors. No changing. Consider that changing the content, link to this content and changing, and the changes are immediately getting reflected land user as an because they will be changing it and it will be immediately. It will be like they are writing credit card, and the same would be visible to the end user as that would user would be seen, and the end user would be seeing that this content is now being updated by the content manager. Like the end user would see this thing, and this is of course a very bad experience. To prevent this, our year work is all the content is prepared. One instance of M here authors or the content managers see if all the content, like when I say all the good and miss all the pages, all the damn, all the assets, all the videos of everything that they have provided within their M. Does it look good on the page or not? They do all the authoring work on one instance of AEM, and then once they find it, everything is then they do it to view that. How it is to look on actual production, actual preview or actual instance where the end user will land and then finally do it. They will do it. Then finally, they will do a replication or activation of content where the content from this instance will go into this instance, and this is the instance which the end user will see. And can you go back to sort of you were explaining me in the website itself, the Coral and the reason why we needed a single instance. You were explaining me. Can you come back again? I was telling you why I do which. Why should we not have a single AEM instances? Because it like if the content managers would be updating the content on the instance like as a day's only one instead, and here only the content managers would be updating content and the end user could also be seeing the content. It's like this is both these activities would be happening simultaneously. It would be a very bad experience for end user. Like they would be seeing that some content is getting updated. That is why all the content updates, everything, even the development, everything, any content update, any image that we upload instance and we prepare all our pages, all our website. We do like see. This is our website home. If I go over to any other page and this will be another page, this is my personal banking account. This is this page and it's the 6 deposit page. No, we prepare all these pages in our event. Preparing the pages, creating all these pages is a part of content job. These pages are all prepared or like is a part of content job. It is a part of content authors. They have to prepare the pages. What they do is they get the images and then they update the content on the pages, and then once the pages are created over here on this instance, and we'll see that how the pages are going to look, they do a preview and replicate the pages to another instance. This instance and this instance will be the end user's instance of here. It is the end user site. This is the end user site, like this is our end user. Of course, here we cannot update any content. This is the end user for end user website. This instance all the authoring can be done. Everything can be updated, be seen like all the development. All the content authoring can be done. This is called as the author instance. Remember this term, author instance. It's called the author and this instance is called the publish. This instance is called the publish. In the other CMS that I work, they call this instance as content manager and the other one is delivery. They had the similar architecture, one instance as the content management, another one. Once it's published, it goes to only the HTML will go out to delivery. Here what will happen is now from this instance, the author instance, see if the content looks all good and they'll that replicate or activate the content from author instance to the publish instance. This is replicate or activate. Once they see that all they were working upon, they have edited or they have created a new page and that page looks all good now. Finally, they will activate this page. Here everything like editing can happen, but here editing cannot happen. Here it's like an end user site. This instance, of course, see this instance. How many users would be accessing the system? No, and you look at next as this instance because this is just internal to company, like internal to company users, like the author's content manager can use it. What we do is this instance most of the time in most of the companies sits behind the company firewall. See, sits behind, and of course this is instance where the end user lands, and this is where the end user comes. Good. Now of course since this is our instance where the end user lands, of course to better load, I think, because if there will be only one end users our work and it will be a deputy, will cause a lot of load on this server. That is why we use through mostly or 99, not even 99, 100% of times. Company used to have multiple publishing operations because this is where end user publish, this can be published on. This was published 0. Here publish each instance. Adobe will have its own web server. Yes, these are all here. These are all a young several pieces. But somewhere over here, also there would be some like, if it's a AM, AWS is easy to install as the old server, or even your company in-house server on the top of that there will be an AM. Then there will be Java and of course from other tools also, like Maven and any other tool which is required. Every server is individual, independent server. I get that like Apache Web Server or IS Microsoft Internet Information Server. Similarly what I understood from our last lesson is a AM will have their own. Yes, sir. Yes, once if we have a year over here. But of course it will have its own server and without IS or Apache. No. We just need to start AM and it will have its own server and the website like the pages will be hosted over there. When you say AM server, it is a Windows or Linux server where we install AM, correct? See, that is a space. Either you take Windows space like this is my Windows laptop, Windows machine, my Windows space. I am providing some artists. That is the space you are talking about. Operating system. That provides me some space, some space to keep my things. On the top of that, I have a server which is my AM server, AM's in-bit server they be in even if we are using Windows. We are not going to use IS never wash, but Apache Linux also. Like we won't use Apache server for HTTP. Instead, we will use AM server. Here we have multiple AM instances and of course, since there will be multiple publisher instances, the author has to replicate the content. It has to take care and make sure that each publisher instance get the replicated content. Here also, there will be replication and activation to this publisher instance, and here also it will replicate the content whenever the authors activate the content. It has to make sure how many publisher instances are there and it has to activate and make sure that each and every publisher instance receives the content. It becomes the author's job to make sure that the publisher, how many publishers are there, and it has to publish or replicate the content to each and every publishers. Now, since there will be multiple publishers instance, what we used to have it, there should be a layer of load balancer which should balance the load among these two publishers instance that comes. It will identify which has the less load and the request will go. Now all this load balancer is how this load balancing thing is taken care. There we used to have a layer of dispatcher. You about this better later, which is a critical session. Dispatchers is our caching and load balancing thing, caching, and we used to have a layer of dispatching and further identifies from to where the request should be sent. But this is the basic architecture. Now, on top of that, one important thing we talked about content as of now is still talked about. The content will be created over there. Here we will create our content. When I say content, it means our pages, asset and all we created over here. We upload it over there and then we replicate it. Which is all content. One thing over here, any content that we have created, it is always created on the server. It is never in as part of your code. It is never checked in. It means in case the server would be corrupted consistently, we have only one officer most of the time. How many user would be accessing the authors are maximum to maximum 10 or 15 or 20. Because those many would be the number of authors or CM that a company would hire to update the content. Maximum to maximum, we will have one author instance. All the content that we create, create a single instance on the author instance. Now the author instance gets corrupted, then the whole content will be lost because the content is never checked in. That is why what company do is they keep on taking the backup of the content. They used to be a regular or daily maintenance activity where the whole content is being backed up by the companies. Then there's a part of server. But what we do individually, like what is checked in code, is something we can, of course, code is we will do it on our local and then we will check in. Code is individually deployed on each and every server and author. We will deploy it on each and every publisher. We will deploy it. What is deployed separately on each and every server is created on author and then replicated to publish. It's called, when we say code, means it's a Java code, slightly, your components, everything that is a cool. You create a great template, all that in the part of code. When we replicate, when we spend, we publish to from another author instance to one page. I am publishing. Yes, we publish a page. It will take all this component template, everything, and then finally to convert to an HTML file and it goes. See content. I will tell you content is separate thing. Component is your code component. Template is your code. Component and template will be available on this instance as well as on this instance. Using those component templates, and you will create a page. You will get an HTML page behind the scene. It looks to you that. This is an HTML page, but behind the scene it's different. Now, when you activate the page, all that things get replicated, not the component and templates, company using that component and template you. You create the component, but component and templates are already available on the publisher itself. You just activate the page because corporate template are already available. Because you have already deployed the port, separate your need and every publisher. Oh, that means from here only content goes there. Yes, content goes there from author to publisher. When we do the replicate, when we do the duplicate, we are replicating what? Replicating a page. Yes, that's what I told you in the page. Inside the page, all the content rendering using a template, or that rendering will not happen here, or it happen at the public site. It happens at both the site. Here, if it's rendering happening, for example, it compares, it's executing that code component, and then finally it generates HTML. That in, you know that HTML only will go there. Yes, it looks to us from an end user perspective, it looks to us. It's an HTML, but behind the scene, how AM stores, the content is in the form, not only content, but everything is in the form of nodes. If you like, we have like see, whatever we create, whatever we do in any legacy application or any application, now in every application is like, if we do something that we have to store the details in the backend server, backend database, We will perform some actions like use in input, user details, but everything then that things to get stored in the database. We have a relational database or any here in AM. It makes the use of node structure like the MongoDB way of working. If you know how MongoDB works, it's like they are nodes, the parent node and child node, and each node will have a set of key and value, properties and value. But that's how AM stores the values, stores the database of M, and the database of M we call it as GPR. Whenever you create a content or whenever you create a page, that also is stored. There is no HTML for that, but there is altogether this node and node, or we call it as a resource, and every node or resource would have some property, skills and values. It gets stored in that format, and that is what get activated to the publisher instance, and those nodes would be referring to our components, or any of the node would be referring to our template, and template would be further rendering those nodes. But ultimately, all our content that we input will be stored in the form of node or resource in the form of key value here. Don't worry, let's not go fast. It's a point to be discussed. Let's stick to, but we are discussing now. I got it. This some basic architecture. I got it. That's great. This is how it works. You deploy the code separately, and of course the content is created on author, and then you replicate it. Now let me go and let me create one instance. What I do is what I am going to do. See, what I'm going to do is I have also created a publisher instance. What I did is I created an author instance. Here I have this author instance and of course multiple publisher, but here I will only create one author and one publisher. What I did is on my this IM 6.5 folder, I just created in this folder, and here in this folder, I got the jar and the license file. These are the two things that I got from that. These are the two things that I got from Adobe. What I did is now I placed the chart. Jar was with a different name, but I did is I update the jar name to give it a specific name. Here the naming of the jar is very important, which helps you identify what type of instance is this. Here in the middle you can see after the hyphen sign, the first thing before the hyphen, it can be anything. You can use Pogo or you can use whatever. You can use the name of the chart, like if it's M6.5 or it's an M6.2. If it's on sticky, anything. First is the name of the chart, then hyphen, then I use the term author. Author here is of course by the name of the jar. It is saying the jar will be provided only one, the same jar will. You will be using author and publisher instances. Just by the name of the jar, you will tell that if it's an author, if it's in publishing state, here what I said is here it. I said that this is my for author instance. I said minus author, and after that again I put a minus hyphen. Then I said P4522. What I said is but P indicates port. I said that this AM is author instance would of course run on my local machine, said that is localhost or 107001, and the port that it will be using is 450 author, and this one. Those two cannot be. I mean that is AM will use it, and the 8.5 party can name it anything. If you give a proper name over here in the jar, AIM will use it in that. If you say that I wanted to start with that at a port 9.50.8, just mention after P9522. Oh, but also we can change. No order should be like this. First is the name, then the type of instance, then the port, the jar they provided me, and the same jar. What I did is I used over here and select just one thing for now. Let's delete this folder And let's again create my publisher instance. To be take some time and just be showing you. I will again create my computer. Author instance is already there. I won't be creating it, and also what I did is I created a starter code back. Either you can directly start your jar. What you can do is directly double click this jar and your AEM server will be up and running. You just need to double click it, or the another ways you can create a bad file. Or if you are using Windows, if you are using Mac, then you may use the finder. Here you can just write the command that you wanted to start this. You will write jar minus java minus jar and then the name of the jar. The name of the jar, what I used, because I use these extra parameters, because by default if you will double click this, then it will by default take some memory and space on my machine, on my laptop, on my current machine. Either you're using OS or you're using your Mac laptop, or I'm using my Windows. It will take the default, which takes by the way, but here I have given some custom values. Here I'm set, and these are the custom memory values that I wanted to be allocated to my this AEM server. Even if you don't provide this, even if you write just this java minus jar, then also it will work. If you want to provide some custom memory, you can do it. Even if you double click it, then also it will work. Double clicking is exactly similarly as our minus jar, the name of it, just since I wanted to have some extra memory allocated to my AEM server. That is why I use this parameter, and just don't worry about this. I will tell you later if I desling run mode. I will tell you it in the, this is I wanted to allocate it some. I want to allocate some extra memory. That is I use this. Now let's see if that instance is gone. Yes, that is gone. Let me do one thing to create a new AEM server. But I will do, let me just create a folder with the name publish, and what I will do is I will just copy these two things, and let me also copy this, the startup bat. Let me go over here, and since I want it to be made as publisher port name, I will give is publish. Remember, it should be published, and let's use the port as 4503. What AEM by default suggests is that if you are practicing the thing on your local, use the author port as 4522 and use the publisher port as 40503. This is a basic guidance from Adobe, from AEM. If you don't want to use it, it's up to you, because by default, the basic configurations, some of the basic configurations of AEM works on 4522 and 4523. I will tell you what those configurations are. Just few, one or two. If you want to use other ports for your author and for your computer that is on, that is up to you. But AEM suggests make the use of this that you do not have to change those. If you are an expert, you can use anything. You know that this is a startup that I'm using for publish here. Let me update the author to publish, and port is 450. Let me say that these names are and 3 broad. What I did is in the author. In the same way I use the file for publisher. I allocated some extra memory. I used the name of the publisher and then gave this minus the sling run, not 203. I will tell you what is this sling run. Simple to create a new server, but what max I did is I just created a folder. I please buy these two, even if I don't read the start of the web and directly click and all that, but just get it. I created my here. I have this now. To start is what I will do is I will write my I will call my startup back here. This author instance is getting started. What I did is I go to the command code and just simply code my startup back. You can see it executed this command, and behind the scene you can say it has set 45 to 2 as my port, and from file name this, and also it will take up author as my instance. It is not displaying that information, but like that is 4005 to 2. Similar way to see here what mainly I wanted to show you this C. This C switch start folder contains all of the repository, all other things that we do. CRM, the author instance is up its local host 45 to 2. It's up. That's great. Let me also start my publisher. I was talking about this here. It's a folder. The Cracks Extract folder gets created the first time when you set your server here in the publishers. Then you see there is no. But the time we will start this, the C folder will automatically get created, and the Crescetera folder will have each and everything. It contains all of our repository. When I say repository, you can also call it as database, but in N we call it as repository. All our whole of our repository, all our logging thing, each and everything is being there inside the Cracks extract. If we have to see what is there inside the folder, use it carefully, see it carefully. Do not edit or delete anything over here, because if you accidentally use or update anything over here inside this folder, then there are very high chances that your repository may get corrupted, because your whole repository is being sold over here. I go inside the publish, and let me just start my publishers. How can I start? I will write again the same command, and let me just again verify if everything is put over here now. Yes, I'm starting at the publish and I give this. But till the time it starts, I will tell you what is this here. You can see it by default. Hey, my protest 4 5s and 5s and 3 5s are from this, and you can see the sling run setting here. You see, I've got another important thing, setting sling run modes to publish from file name. By default it. But what to know that this is a published instance, and from the file name it said the sling run modes is published from file name. What is sling run modes? Here, things are more than what we are using in our command as well. Here also you can see -d is that we are passing some parameters to over minus. These used when we want to pass some extra parameters to over the air file, and we used sling run modes again over here, and the same we were seeing over here as well in our sling gun mode or nothing, but here you used. Here you said this is my author. The name of this instance is basically author. This instance will become an author instance. It's become the publishing sling run mode. Basically, you can say is the name of the instance. This is the name of instance. Here, the name of the instances are published, and then these are the two names that I provided by myself. One is Tojo and the other is People In total, my published instance would have three names. One is, of course, published, other is Tojo, and the third one is FreePro. My author instance has three names. One is author, like I should not call it as names, but these are sling run modes. But for now, you can call it a name. It is author, then it is drawed, and then it is picked. I provided these two as my custom names, and author and publishes, by default, I provided by the name of the chat. Like you have home name, you have your. Like you have a nickname at home, similarly you have official sling.run.mods prod, comma between what exactly that is. You gave names to your. That's what I'm telling you. You gave names to your instance. Well, remember for now one instance. This is my author instance. One name is author. My author instance would have a name author and the other name is broad and the third name is people. 3 names. Yes, 3 names all together you can. Why we have 3 names? Why we need to have 3 names? I will tell you, let's not run, let's go one by one. I will tell you each and every time. Firstly, let's see we have 3 names. But here this author is your official name, like you have your nickname and then you have your official name. Authors become your official name. Similarly, your publish become the official name of the systems. And these two becomes like nicknames. You can say any like I, just yes. Take an example. It becomes the alias, but I am calling it as names, but these are run modes. These are run modes. The author is a run mode and we pay this broad and between are also run. But physically, internally, these are names, only that you give name to your instance. But in technical terms, we call it a sling run. Now, this is the official name and this is broad and between are unofficial. In nicknames, now we know our nicknames keeps on changing but our official name cannot in the same way. The first we have created the author instance and later on you decided let's make this author a publish instance. You can never do if you have created an author instance, you cannot make it a publisher, and if you have created a publisher instance, you cannot make it an author. But the names, you can change the nicknames. You can change it anytime, like you have foreign and between as its nickname later on. You want this. This broad doesn't look good, and what you can do is you can stop the author instance. Just change the run mode. Remove this broad or to high to anything like core, and you will again start and it will have broad as if it no longer has product name and core will be the new name. New name. Just stop the server. Update the nicknames and it will get updated. Orderly has updated, it will be updated. But you cannot do it without visual name. Important thing, author instance can once created, once up and running. You can never change it to publisher. Publisher. Once created, once up and running, you cannot change it to wrong. But nicknames these, you can change. The custom names that you provide, you can change. Now, if I show you this, you can see my checks extract folder has created by its own and it's not there in the publish and somewhere my server is also getting up. Oh, sorry, I just went to talk the first time. When you create your server, it will ask you what should be the admin credentials you are choosing which you will log in into your F. Here, I provided the password and all. If I show you this localhost 4522 is my author instance and here it opened my dashboard. This is nice. You can see this is a web application. It is opening. It is not a desktop application. It is opening on my browser. Of course, everything running on my browser needs a server to run, which is ACE. I will log in admin because this is our default user default name that I gave. Now this is the author instance. Here you will do all the authoring. Here, you see, you have many things over here on the home screen. Here you can see. This is the sites here. This link helps us in creating our pages, our websites. And if any page you have to create, you will do it over here. I will tell you about experience segment later. Then you have assets. As assets is where you will upload and update all your, or you will maintain your digital assets. That is a PDF, videos and images. All is what you will do over here. If I go over here, assets, and then I will go inside the files, you can see here you can create any of your folder. If I create a folder, let me just create a folder, my A here. Let me name it as my again. You can create it. Here it is, and inside this folder you can upload any file. Like if you want to upload any image, you will go to files and it will ask you to upload it from here. I will my documents, and here I have, let's say I have this image, I can upload it over here anything. This is that. That is what you can upload. But if you want to get some new things from here, from your, like if you want to download a new image, let's say an image, let's say let's download this image, download it over there, over here. It's over here. Let me name it as new and to upload it. What you will do is you will go over here 3, 8 and 5 and here you can upload it. I will go inside this and will upload it over here. Your image, this is how you will upload your image. Any PIF you have, any image you have, you can directly upload in your here. All the content will be made. Let me just show you again what I did is, I went over here from the home screen. I went inside my assets where all my digital assets. It is called Digital Asset Manager. You can see the path. If the path is, forget about this, the path is /content. Remember /content. Remember this path /content. Then you have DAM indicate Digital Asset Manager. Here, I went inside and then file and then here I have my 8 here. You uploaded your image. You can see once you were uploading, you were seeing that it was doing some processing when it was doing this by default. I'm behind the scene. Create some renditions of whatever you upload in the DAM. It will by default create some renditions. I will tell you later on how does that work. But initially, when you were seeing that it was doing some processing behind the scene, it was creating a renditions of your image. Let me see if my publisher instance is up or not. If I hit 03, it's still not up. Let me see how much more time it is going to take. It needs more time. This way you can create your upload your assets. Let me again go back. Let me just, and you are into the box here inside the assets. You will manage all your digital assets, Digital Asset Manager. This path is Digital Asset Manager. Remember the path starts is /content. You see /content and then all your content. I am focusing on this is because all your content, like all your pages, all your digital assets will sit below this flash content. Let me go back. This is DAM is Digital Asset Manager. Now I will go to the site. Here you create your pages. What does is it provides with us with some dummy site. Here you can see these. We Retail and Weekend are some 3 sites with by default when you start up your AMP. AMP provides you with some dummy file which you can take reference to create your own sites for production. Of course, you won't install this because you do not want any dummy sites to take space on your production. But for lower environment, you should install that. You can take some references here. This We Retail is a reference site with Adobe provide, and here you can see it has created state like this is a home. This is a page, and below that we have this hierarchy, and we have and then we have, like you can see, a lot of these are the actual pages. Below this experience page, we have further child pages as well. Have they here? They create it in a hierarchical way. We create the page. If you want to update every page, just click over here. Like, if I want to update the About Us, I will click over here and then I will click Edit, and this page will be opened in the author instance. If you want to create a new page, like if you want to create a new page below Experience, then you will go create and create a page that I will tell you later here. Let's open an existing. They let me open, and about the speed, how will you do? Just click on this and click on Edit. Here you see again, forget about this. In editor.html, this important thing is content. Again, here all our content is full. We retail is the path. We retail is what we started over here. Everything sits below the content hierarchy. And we are getting this path over here because we should be able to edit our content to edit the content. That is why we get this editor.html. On the author, only you can edit the content. Of course, not on the publisher, because publisher is the end user site that will there. You cannot edit anything there. You cannot update any moment. All the updation can be done over here on the author. We will do the preview here. You can see the preview icon, preview button. I was telling you about the print preview. How will you do a preview before activating, before replicating the pages through here? Here, you can see we have this page, and of course every page in AM is built using a number of components. We place the number of components on the page, and that makes our page. You can see we have. If I scroll down, this is one component. If I scroll down, you can see this blue down surrounding it, means this is one component whose name is hero image. The name is it. If I scroll down, you can see this is another component which is named as title. Now, this is another component, and above this is another component, and this is another component. It's another here. Now, let me just read here. This is one component. Simply what it is doing, it is printing some text cover story, which is my permission. Let's see where it is. Thank you. It's getting up. It will take some time. Tell them, let's see our author. Let me open some other page. This is very pretty simple. We like to open this also here. We have a rumor space here also. You can see this is my image component. Then below that I have this title component. Then again some component. This is, you can see, product feed component. That are again some link button component. And you have this teaser component. This is also teaser component. See usability of compound, because both these looks exactly similar. It just does the change of image text and something. That is why you use the same component. These are component over here as well, and over here same component. But using different authoring, we achieve different look and feel for that. Similarly, you see this is my title component, and through this title I displayed this text over here also. This is also title component, but here I displayed a different text. Reusability of components. Now, if I will go over here, if I want to change anything, let's say if I want to change this text. What I will do is for the author instance, my publisher is also up straight. Let me open this only in it. And this only being it, my publisher was running on. I open this moment. Let's say it, whatever network is to come already, this This one's a sample coming with the yes. Yes, the sample sites will by default content manager. I mean the author by default. By default, the code and the content for running this website is there by default. What we do is, here is another name and you can use to prevent this from uploading by default. You get this default content or default website if I will tell you that name later. But there is a name that you can give to your rep, to your run mode, or you can give this name to your instance, and by that name it will. If it see that this name is added and it will not have this default content on your instance, by default it will have. If you will explicitly add that name, it will move, but it will not have. Then if I want revert it, can I if I delete it? Yes. Stop your instance and add that name because that is also a nickname. It means it can be added or remover, and you stop your instance and add that name and it will be gone when we have started and again revert, add, remove and stop the instance, remove it and restart. Yes, stop the instance, add that name, remove that name, nicknames. You can do it anytime you can do and again, and then it will come back. Yes, so you can see this is my publication here. You see the site looks. Of course, it's an end user site and the content is the same. Women's page, that is a theme over here. The whole content is same. Now, if you have it over here, feature products over here, and that's over here. Let's say if the authors want to update the text over there, what they will do is they will update the content within this dialog. How they will do it? They will go and click on the configure to open the components dialog. I will tell you when we start working on component. This is a dialog of the component. This dialog gives the means. It allows the author that they can input that text or it update the content as per them. Here I have the title. Here I measure is featured product. Let me say here. Let me say the size is, and if I say you can see the size got reduced and the text got updated. This is how we do it. On all the same, just simply configure component and the dialog will open, and here inside the dialog, you will update the text and whatever you want to update and just say. If you want to preview, just preview it. See, I clicked on preview. You see completely looking like the end user website. Again, go back to edit and I can edit it now. I am satisfied that all the thing looks good. Let's do one thing. Let's activate this bit. Let's perform this program and replicate or activate the books. And how will you do that? You will go over here and click on Publish Page. Publish Page. Publish, activate and replicate. Here, let me also use the term publish, publish page, publish, replicate, activate. All these things are used in Touch. I will do publish page and then it will ask me, do you want here? You can see it will ask me, do you also want to activate all the images and all the other reference things on this page? I will say no because I know the code and content for the movement page is already there, that I have updated only one text. I just wanted to update the page. If you have update a component, it's not that you can only activate that on the company. You have to activate the whole page. I changed over here. But of course, the page has to be activated, not that a component can be activated. Component, only that component's content can be activated. That won't be the case. The whole page will be activated. Now, If I will refresh over here my actual and publish your site, and you can see my updated content started appearing over here. It is simple. You change your content on author and you bring your, and then you preview it and then see preview, see how the content looks, and then you simply go and publish page and your changes are. One more time, can you publish the page? I'm doing that. Let me just do it. One more thing. Let me update this image. We uploaded our own image. Let me do here. We have this option to publish, and the last icon has the option to select the images. Here you can see this is all the image, my new image we uploaded, and it is directly available to be used on the pages. Pretty simple here. Let me open this and let me diagram this image and let me say image is updated, and then again you can go and publish your page, and here you are getting that. Do you want to upload this image as well? You want to replicate this image? Of course, I want to replicate this image because this image is not available there on the publisher other than this image. I do not want to activate any other thing because rest of the things are already there on my publisher. See, in saying that, whether do you want to upload the template policies, a lot of things which are authoring templates, and all those things we do not want because those would already be there. Except, yes, we want this image to be activated because this image is not there, because this image is only there on my author instance. What I wanted is to activate my page as well as my image. If I won't activate this, what will happen is this will break. This will break. It's already big. Let's activate this. Let's change it at another place. This one is all good. Let's change it over here. I've updated this. Let's update this. Let's update the image for this. I will open the component and into the publisher instance. Already know how it is published. Did I activated it? When you went there and I showed blank the other one, the woman, the publisher on that was no, the page was never activated. See, when you went inside the S head, you went inside this head. I'm again going inside the damn hierarchy here. I created this my e-game. When you upload, either you can activate from here only. You select that image and then you click on 3 dot and you click on publish. Here also you can explicitly activate your image, or if you want to go on the page and from there, if you want to activate from there also. When you do it from the image, for example, publish that image plus the corresponding page also. No, it will only activate the image here when we are see the image is referenced on this page. Image is not referencing that page. The page is referencing the image. When you activate the page, then it will say that these are the reference thing. But then you want to activate it when you publish this page and you choosing only that particular image, still page also will get published. Is what? Only the page will publish. You are only publishing the page. Only page will publish by. The image will be published. I know if you select the image in this page, an image will go. Yes, like if now we shared, what will happen is my page will be activated and my image as well. Now if I will go see both at both the places, the image would be updated because we placed the same image over there on both the places at both the places. Maybe late previously it was not, why it is not showing, because the image that I'm lefting, let's just inspect this. Because the image that I'm referring over here, maybe the image that I'm referring, it may not be available in my publishing cells. Let me just refresh this. We can see image is also available now and the content page is also updated. You can explicitly whenever you are the best practices. If you are uploading any image, you would be knowing that this would be used on multiple pages. You activate it then and there only that. You do not have to worry that this page is referring this image. Should I activate it or not? Any previous page would have activated or not. Best is then, when you upload anything, activate it then and there only. But just make sure that that content is not for just testing purpose, but would be used on the end side. Because if you would activate this, it will take space from your publisher as well. From your author it is already taking, but on your publisher also it will take space. Publisher is where your end user comes. Best is to keep your publisher instance clean. That is, I don't upload or activate any unnecessary things on the production publisher on your local. You can do yes here. This is the concept of author and publisher, how you update the content, how you update the asset, how you basically update any page, and then how you activate and replicate it to the publisher. Now, one question which I expected from you was, this is running on 4.5 filter 2. This is running on 5 filter 3. How does my author instance gets to know? If it has to activate, then it has to activate on localhost 4.5.3 because this is altogether running on a separate server which is on 4.5.3. My system domain is same, but still my port is different. How does my author instance who is activating gets to know that my publisher running is running on 4.5.2.3 because it is succeed. It is able to successfully activate or replicate and make it and helping in making the content available on the publisher. But how does it get to know? This is where it has to push the content or activate the content or replicate. This is important thing that we will discuss tomorrow. What was the question, sir? Again, how does author instance get to know that it has to replicate on this publisher instance? Oh, I see what you are saying. You are saying you know what it is happening in the arm. When how does this connecting? There could be some other connection, how the integration is. There could be some config file I'm expecting. There will be some configuration file where we'll mention this. Yes, we will discuss about that. A lot of things are very similar to the other product. It's a more or less only difference then. Now, one difference I found is the other product. We don't have this. If we want to edit something in the publisher side, we won't get it. Other side, if you want to edit something, we won't get a site like, look, we won't get. Oh, there, in there they will have only structure and component. It's just like, normal window and just employee. Here you can do the preview. And also one more thing here where we activated, where we do the publish. Here also you get it. Another option view as published. Please also, you can see how it's running on my local authenticity only, but it is giving the full look and feed of my publish instance. But the preview also will give same. Yes, preview also gives. But see here, the opting will keep on, will still keep coming. It gives, but not in the full way. You still get something. I will tell you that this gives you the best like look and feel of publishers. It's exactly same as publisher. Behind the scene also, the code will also done as a publisher. I will tell you what is the difference. I will tell you when we will go into that alien names. I will tell you more. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.